are live at the Project Star Outside broadcast. You are joining us here on the Bridge 99 FM in Kingston, Jamaica, and in the New York tri-state area on Irie Jam Radio. As you know, the Project Star is about shifting mindsets towards community transformation and renewal. We are joined now by Social Enterprise Officer, Mr. John Meeks. Mr. Meeks, welcome to the Bridge. How are you?
Thank you very much.
So as we talk about shifting mindsets, in your community, you work with the deaf community. What are some challenges that this community has, and how can they be a part of shifting the mindset as it pertains to Project Star?
Okay. As a general rule or general approach, I think the largest part of the challenge that is faced by the deaf community is that of integration, fulsome integration. We know that there's a disability, but access to opportunities, access to services that will allow for their integration into the society is a challenge. And that takes the form of improper education, or should I say no education at all. There's awareness that's needed. Sad to say, there are a lot of family members who have deaf persons within the family, but they hide them, especially the children.
Wow.
Because it's a shame.
Yeah.
And because of that, you find that the deaf persons are treated less than because of the illiteracy. They can't talk, they can't hear,
Right.
and so because of that, the ability to communicate is hampered, and because when someone can't communicate, it's a major challenge. And so all of those associated challenges forms a part of the whole in terms of the major challenges faced by the deaf population in Jamaica.
Shifting mindset towards community transformation in today's world with what's happening with crime and violence, do you think that this is feasible?
It is. It is. You know, the truth is, the reality is, when you look at it, the negative element is in the minority.
Not the majority.
Take a look at that.
Okay.
The negative element is in the minority, but the impact caused by the negative element is such that it overshadows, seemingly overshadows the positive outcomes associated with the larger subset, which is the positive. I mean, you'll have a community, you'll have 2 or 3 bad men or gunmen or whatever you want to call them, and because of fear, the 90% of the community would just cower. And so I say it's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. It's just that the positive element has to take a stronger stance and make sure its impact is more felt than that of the negative.
Have you been trained for that mindset change within your community?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Speak
to us about the training.
The training. All right. So I'd say the training started by virtue of those things you pick up by association with the positive in your community. The positive Miss Lady, the positive Master Joe. I remember there was a shopkeeper called Mr. Johnson. He's dead now. And he would take me, let me work in his shop, you know. And that for me, I said, well, if he can have a shop, I can have a shop.
Well, yes.
There's a next door neighbor, Miss
Absolutely.
Dolly. Miss Dolly I would clean her pig pen, but then she would give me some money and she would say, save your money, boy. I saved. That's a positive. So moving from that and just gaining that by natural association, so there's a lot learned by natural association.
Yes.
And I want to say that a lot of us take for granted the impact of natural association. It's called socialization.
Socialization.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so while I can spend money to go and learn a course, I challenge you and I tell you that that which I've learned by natural association is more reliable, more well learned, more applicable than what I will learn in a formal educational platform. Saying that, however, recently I got a 6-month scholarship from the International School of Greatness in Canada, which focuses on purpose and fulfillment and satisfaction. Yes, that school is run by one Alex E. Hammer, and he currently has several courses ongoing in Jamaica. And so that was my first formal training in terms of finding purpose, developing your own mission. But prior to that, I have an exercise book right now that was written maybe some 20 years ago, where I take that book up every ever so often, and I remember writing down and saying, I want to work in anything that helps people to help themselves.
Yes.
And every time I take that up and I look back at it, I realize I'm doing exactly what I said was my mission.
Yeah.
And so I've had that training. I have some training as a teacher as well. And I love personal development. And so I read a lot along that lines. Things like First Things First, the Covey
Yeah.
and his works, all of that. So, but I do have that formal training, and I'm a certified life coach at present. But prior to that, most of this mindset would have been learned by association, by being a Christian, church, positive association with friends, and just knocking heads with persons from all different echelons of society, having worked as a project officer with Jamaica Social Investment Fund, having worked with Comic 2 USAID project. So I've been in the whole environment of community development and positive dynamics.
So as we speak specifically to Project Star, and by the way, I'm all about purpose. Purpose is very,
Right.
very important. And the sooner we all find and realize that we all have a purpose, the world
Right.
will absolutely transform. But have you received any formal training from the Project Star initiative team to apply to the community?
No, I haven't received any specific training from Project Star. As a matter of fact, the way I got linked to the Project Star a project or initiative, I'm currently assisting another organization called ID Pioneers.
Okay.
We are currently working on a youth transformation project.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. So coming out of our training with the International School of Greatness, finding purpose, learning from your trauma, it's called learning from your pain.
Okay.
And so coming out of that, we were tasked with finding a project that would help us to apply what we have learned. You know, they
Okay.
say better than knowledge is
Yeah.
applied knowledge,
Yes.
right? And so we put together this proposal that would now engage some youth in helping to help them with a positive mindset transformation.
Yeah,
And
so
so
important.
working with ID Pioneers, that's how I was presenting to the board, which includes, I think, Donna Duncan Scott.
Yes.
And so she heard the story
Yeah.
because they wanted to know whether the project was possible, and they wanted to know whether the measures of the indicators of success were, you know. And once I told the story, she was sold. And so that's how I became involved with the Project Star.
What impact do you want to see? What change do you want to see in your community on the heels of Project Star?
Listen, I want to see that wholesome transformation that takes place at every level.
Every level.
Listen, for
Every
far
level.
too long, the emphasis has been at the grassroots. Change happens up and change happens
Yeah.
down.
Yes,
And I will
yes.
tell you
Yes.
that while change is taking place at the grassroots,
Yeah.
it's not happening at certain other levels.
Yeah.
And so there's a stagnation, and there's the whatever is learned or what's happening at that level does not get the full impact because it has not the space.
Yeah.
And so I'm wanting to see that all of Jamaica, at the different echelons of society, recognize that they too need to change.
Yeah.
From
Thank
government,
you so
private
much.
sector, the whole
All,
and
for
that's
all.
that's-
This is a all of us
That's-
issue.
yes,
A
yes.
community for all of us.
Yes.
Everybody forward. Thank you, Mr. Meeks. We appreciate you stopping by the bridge. More after these messages.
pleasure is mine.